Hey, I'm Dr. T. Welcome to my office. So I had an interesting idea related to AI. I know, another video on AI. So many of these things. Okay, so for the last about semester or so starting in the spring and then doubling, tripling down on this in the fall, I've been using what's known as a claims evidence reasoning report format. Roughly speaking, students write a report, shocking, over a lab or activity that they've done, and they start out with a claim. You know, the unknown metal is copper. Then they have their evidence. The unknown metal had a specific heat of 3.0, I don't know what it is, 3.9 or something, density of, say, 8.90 grams per milliliter, and is dark brown. Copper has a specific heat of 0.386, maybe? I don't know. Whatever copper specific heat is. I'll probably check over there or something. Copper has a density of 8.96 grams per milliliter, I think that's right, and is a reddish brown copper colored. So that would be their evidence. And then their reasoning would be, well, since the specific heats are close, then that would be indicative of the unknown metal being copper. Specific heat may be a little low, but that could be due to some heat loss in the transfer of the copper from the heating bath to the calorimeter. The densities are relatively close. The colors are similar. The difference in color might be due to some oxidation or something. And so that's the extent of the report, a very short report. And it dawned on me fairly quickly. It's like, well, I could put some citations on those numbers. You know, I probably should for the ones that got looked up. You know, how do I know what the density of copper is? I should cite that. And if I do that, what would happen if I chucked that into ChatGPT and asked it to write, say, a full report? Well, it didn't do a great job, but it definitely did a halfway decent job, and that was ChatGPT 3.5. I've heard 4.0 is pretty impressive. So, yeah, the CER report seemed to make a halfway decent prompt for generative AI. This may actually be a way forward in the way that we're writing reports. To the best of my knowledge, trying to get a CER report out of generative AI, your prompt basically needs to be the report itself anyhow, because you've got to give it a lot of information. These things are pretty dense, and presumably this is information that's coming from the student, compared to Lab Notebook, I guess, if you want to double check that. Who knows, they probably have an app now. You take a picture of your Lab Notebook and it writes the full report. But if the student can write the CER report and use that for a prompt, well, that may actually be a skill set for future development. You know, ChatGPT and other generative AI is not going anywhere anytime soon. That Pandora's box has been opened, and so we probably need to figure out how to use it. You know, kind of like a calculator, it's going to be a tool. And so teaching students, one, to do critical thinking with the CER report, get that rationale to make sense. Obviously, this is going to work for labs. It doesn't work with other stuff. You know, the causes of the Civil War is not going to turn into a CER report. I mean, I guess it could, truth be told, but I doubt it. Anyways, so this then could work to be like, okay, if you can get your critical thinking done, you can get your ideas and your facts, etc., sorted in, and then you could use generative AI to turn that into a rough draft or report, which then gets polished. That may very well be a future workflow for a large number of people. I don't know. Good generative AI is fairly new. Generative AI in general is not that new. It's been around for a while, but it hasn't been good. And now all of a sudden we're dealing with, oh, the computers got good. So just kind of think ahead. You know, there's no reason to teach for the past. You know, if a student wants to take a flint knapping course for fun, more power to them. But let's just be honest, it should not be part of the core curriculum to learn flint knapping. And who knows what the future is going to hold, but learning how to use AI is probably going to be part of it. So that said, that's just an idea. I don't know if it's a good one. I have no idea what the future is going to hold. I'm still not allowing students to use generative AI in most of my courses. I've got one I'm thinking of doing, to be honest. I'm thinking of actually trying that out in one of my upper level labs, where it's really more about the lab than the report. It's just, you know, they got to produce something. And hey, might be worth trying, might be a skill that they'll actually need in the future. So with that said, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in later videos.